San Jose Sharks schedule has just been released. I can't find it anywhere in calendar format, but this is the copy that I'm going off of here. 82 games. We're going back to the old way in a lot of ways, but I wish a couple things would have carried over from last season. For example, I loved that back-to-back format. I liked the fact that two teams would play 2 games in a row, and it would get a little bit testy in the second game. We're not going to really see that here in 2021-22 for San Jose or anybody else across the league. Other general thoughts, and I'll dive into more on that in just a second, but this schedule starts, I would say, about a week and a half later than they typically do in the first week of October, and this schedule ends about 2 to 3 weeks later than it typically does. Usually a hockey season is over right around here, April 9th, 10th, something like that. But it's going to go to the 29th in the regular season for San Jose. So let me just hit reverse and touch on that lack of back-to-back games. I liked it. I know it was for the pandemic. It was to limit exposure. It was to limit travel. But I just felt like it was a very good thing that the league did last year. And I don't see why in some way, shape, or form it just doesn't carry on here. I'm not really sure. I mean, I like to see San Jose versus Anaheim and Anaheim, and then LA and LA. And maybe you could have done this for division opponents only. Now, you will note here that the old format does include home and away games for all the NHL teams. So like San Jose is going to go out east and play everybody once out there and then once back at SAP Center. Let me just take a look at the sequencing of games here. You see a very busy start. I mean, the 16th, 19th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, 26th, 28th, basically every other day in the month of October, November, December. But look at all the road games right here. And this is kind of typical for a San Jose Sharks season. They go out east early. They get the travel and the what could be messy, snowy travel in December, January, February. They get it all out of the way in October when it's not like that. So there is actually a lot to benefit from there. And I always do think that there is team bonding to happen early in seasons. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games out east between Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston, and Nashville. This after only playing 1 single home game. You play 5 on the road. And then you get 5 back at home. Montreal, Winnipeg, Buffalo, St. Louis, New Jersey. Have you noticed anything up to this point? Have the Sharks played any division teams? The answer is no. They will not even play a division team, until the 9th of November. That's almost a full month into their season. And then after that, Winnipeg, Colorado, at Minnesota, at St. Louis, another 5-gamer. Man, they are getting so much heavy lifting done on the road early on here. 3 5-game trips, 5-gamer, 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 with a 5-game homestand and a 4-game homestand sandwiched in between. That's a busy start. It's a busy road start to the season. And again, I'm looking for another division opponent here. Do we have to go all the way to December 7th? Until the second time the Sharks see a division team. This is their first home division game. December 7th. How does that work? That's odd. I'm not sitting here to complain about this or to say one way or the other. It's interesting. That means you're going to get a very division-heavy second half of this season for San Jose. Oh, how could I not mention this? Take note of the gap here between February 1st and the 24th. That's the Olympic break. Yes, we are back into an Olympic season. And going back to what I said before about how this year is starting about a week and a half late. You know, I don't know if that's because this current season, this past one, went long, and they're compensating obviously on the back end here by having it push out, I would say a good 2 to 3 weeks. But the Sharks will not play a hockey game for about 3 weeks, from the 1st of February to February 24th. I typically think that what we're going to see, and I've been through these Olympic seasons before, watching and observing how the team handles them, usually it's the full 2 weeks off, and then the final 5 days before their next game, they start ramping it up. They invite players back to, headquarters, skate around a little bit. But what to make of this schedule? All right, and you typically get the home-heavy December. Going back to this, after those 3 big, heavy 5-gamers are done, you're home for basically, most of December, 1 road game. So here we go. After December 7th, the Sharks don't even have to leave the state of California until 2022. So, let's be honest. That is a benefit right there. But then it's another trip, a heavy trip out east. Pittsburgh, Detroit, Buffalo, and Philly. This one in the snowy times of January. And then it looks like they're back. They don't really get, December is, and you can see this chunk right here, that is the home stretch that's longest for them this entire year. Everything else here is kind of segmented in terms of the home schedule in 2022. It's, 2 games. Let me see. Nope, sorry, that's a 4-gamer. Then 1, then 3, then 1, then 2, then 2, then 1, then 3, then 1, then 3, then 1. So you kind of get the idea that there's one really long sustained portion at home here, December 7th through the 23rd. Again, what to make of it, how it affects the team, I think the Sharks have a lot more to prove than typically the schedule will affect them, if that makes sense. A lot of times over the years, we've gone over this schedule, we've analyzed it, we've said, who in the division do they play, how, when, where? I'm honestly, this time around, I'm not even looking at it that way. Because the division is part of it, and a division-heavy second half is part of it. A lot of travel at the beginning is part of it. But all that established, I think a lot of what the Sharks do or don't do falls on them and not the schedule. How they can turn things around. How they can be an improved team. How they can be a little bit of a different team. And how they can get this fresh slate. Now, going back to 82 games, this is a whopper of a schedule. And, man, we're saying this here, we're talking about this here at the end of July. And as it stands right now, life is in a much better spot. Globally, nationally, internationally with Canada. But I'm certainly hoping that game right there, October 16th at SAP Center, has a lot of fans. And by a lot of fans, will it be full attendance? Will that be allowed? I don't know. I have my hopes, and I have my hopes tied into how the rest of the country and California, the Bay Area, and Santa Clara County are doing. I hope all is well enough to dictate getting this back to normal, but I don't know. And the NHL is putting out this schedule in full confidence that there'll be cross-border travel. Heck, look at the Sharks' second game of the year. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston, Nashville. By the way, can I just say, if you're gonna ever do a road trip with the Sharks, their first one here, look at the cities. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto in the fall, Boston, and Nashville. Did you say Nash Vegas? Yeah, there you go. Let me read the press release that the team puts out here to go along with this. In case I missed anything, I'll cover it here. The NHL is planning on returning to a full 82-game regular season schedule, one home and road game against every other team in the league. The NHL has also included a scheduled break during the month of February to accommodate the NHL players participating in the 2022 Winter Olympics. By the way, the All-Star Weekend is February 4th and 5th, so right after this last game at Tampa Bay. So they're going to fly home right after that probably on a Wednesday morning, and then go their separate ways until the 24th of February. Talks about the Sharks opener, again, Saturday the 16th of October against Winnipeg. Then it talks about the road-heavy trips, those 5 gamers in a row we discussed. How about the Sharks' first game against the Seattle Kraken? That is actually, there it is, December 14th at home. So history in the making, home game hosting Seattle. And then how about at Seattle here? Let me try and, there we go, January 20th. So in mid-December, the first Sharks-Kraken game. Let's get it Kraken. And on January 20th, Thursday the 20th, the first Sharks game in Seattle against the Kraken. And I heard somebody else say that there were only 3 games against Las Vegas here. Let me just do a quick scan of that. I think that might be true. Again, the division games, I know we got used to seeing, 7 head-to-head games last year when you were only playing against that Honda West division. Well, now you're going back to the Pacific Division. And yes, Seattle is in, and the Desert Dogs are out. Oh, does it pain me to say it? We're not going to get to talk about the Desert Dogs as much anymore, are we? Sorry. Vegas. Let me get back to Vegas. I don't even see here Vegas at all in 2021. December. Nope. We're into January. I see at Vegas. March 1st is the first time. And then I see April 10th. And then I see April 24th. That's it. So 3 times. And the first is all the way in March. July, let's see, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. We are right now 8 months away from the first Sharks Golden Knights game, the next one to happen, besides preseason, by the way. Wow. Well, there you go. This is an 82-game schedule. I certainly hope that this bad boy plays out, just like it looks here. But in the coming days, I'm sure you'll see this in calendar format. Again, the main takeaway points for me, I wish they would have kept the back-to-back format. And I understand that doesn't work when you're going out east, but at least against the Western teams and specifically against the division teams, that would have been awesome to see back-to-back series. It is busy. It is condensed and compressed, again, for the second straight year. I mean, look at they're playing every other day in October and November, and look at December. 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 14th, a couple days there, but 16th, 21st, 23. And by the way, I do congratulate the NHL every season on taking all the days surrounding Christmas off just to give everybody a nice break and not interfere with personal lives, kind of like the NBA does. January 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 13th. I mean, you see how this is literally an every other day endeavor for the team. And then going all the way back here to the Olympic break is most of February. There's only 4 February games for the Sharks. These 3 heavy road trips to start it off. This one long sustained homestand between the 7th and 23rd of December. And just a very second half division heavy schedule. So how does it all go? How many wins do the Sharks get this year? I'm not predicting that. A lot remains to be seen, right? I'm going to save season previews, predictions, projections for some later time way down the road. As for right now, this team is not constructed. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to put tons of stock in this other than to know that it's different. It's back to normal in some ways. It remains quirky in a handful of ways. And in some ways, I wish it were different. I wish we would have got those head-to-head games for strategy purposes, to cut down on travel purposes, just to make it more interesting. But here's how we have it right now. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, how about Tampa? I mean, if you won the Stanley Cup twice in a row, when are we gonna see those guys here? At Tampa. Scanning, I guess not at all in the first half. Oh, there it is. Looks like twice within what, like 9 days? The 22nd of January, they'll host Tampa. And then by February 1st, that last game before the break, they'll be out in Tampa. So there you go. The 2021-22 Sharks season schedule. And you know what? I should have mentioned this before. I'm not great at self-promotion, but I want to build the channel here. So help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. It's the platform I'm trying to create for both you and me. Stuff that we just, normally wouldn't do on television or anywhere else. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up on this video if you liked it. I appreciate all of your support, and I look forward to talking to you next time. All right? I'll leave you on the schedule here. See you later.